That's going to be fun to go up. Can't bloody wait. Oh dear. Einstein must have had idiots like me in mind when he came up with that great quote, "The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results." I am a classic case of this. If you've seen my previous videos, you'll have seen it in person. Every time I've gone for an ultra, I've set off far too quickly, I've not eaten enough, and I seem to have some kind of drama with hydration, whether it's too much or too little. So with that in mind, and having done 3 ultra marathons already this year, you would have thought that I would be in a much better position for a 50k now to make good on all these mistakes I've made in the past, learn from them, and possibly even set a PB in this race. Spoiler alert, I didn't. With just under 1300 metres of elevation, the 50k route for the South Downs Way Ultra Marathon is pretty damn cheeky and definitely not the kind of race where you should be setting off with aspirations of a personal best. 3, 2, 1. So here we go, ready to start the 50k route. Determined to prove Einstein right, I put myself right near the front of the group rather than chilling out and trying to work on my pacing. But at this stage I'm feeling fresh and feeling good, and what could possibly go wrong? Whilst I'm never expecting to win or place really highly in these ultra marathons, every time I go into the events I'm always trying to just improve on what I did before, be a bit competitive and enjoy the experience. I'd gone from running my first 50k in August this year in just over 7 hours to running 2 100k events where I'd done the first 50k in under 6.5 hours. So it was fairly realistic for me to think that I could do a 50k event in around 6 hours, because I don't need to pace myself beyond those 50k like I had to for the hundreds. I can go max chat, I can take the brakes off, and I can just see what I can do. Now that's relevant if I'm running the same course that I've done before, whereas this was the South Downs Way. I'd only run a 10k event here before. It was bloody hilly and really hard, so I should have known that this probably wasn't the race course to be trying to set a PB in, bearing in mind that within a few hundred metres of starting you're already going up some ruddy great big hills. Oh, started off too quick again, so I'm over 10k, coming up to the first aid station at 12. Yeah, way too quick, but let's see how it goes.
I seem determined to make my races as difficult as possible for myself. Before every single ultra marathon, I'd sit down, I'd do my time, speed, distance equations to figure out how many minutes per kilometre I need to do to set my overall goals for that race. I'd got in my head that I could maybe do this 50k in around 6 hours to 6:15. It worked out that I needed to do just under 7-minute Ks to achieve that. That would give me some fudge factor for the terrain, for stopping at aid stations and any other dramas on the way. What I didn't need to be doing was doing 6-minute kilometres, which is what I'm doing in this first 10k. What's worse is, at the 5k mark, I looked at my watch and seen I'd done that first 5k in just under 30 minutes. I knew it was too quick, so sensible Greg would have slowed down, chilled out and let the time creep up on him a little bit. But no, I kept that pace, whinging to myself that I was going too quickly while still going too quickly. I did take a gel, which is a win for me, because if you see my previous videos, you know that I'm rubbish at this kind of stuff. So I thought if I had a gel early, I could possibly get some energy back in my system and maybe just get ahead of the curve again and get on with it.
21k done. Next rest stop in about 3k. I think I'm about 7 minutes under, hitting 3 hours midway, which is good. But the hills here, holy crap. I'm only saying crap because this could be seen by under 18s.
They're steep, they hurt, my legs are very ouchy, my lungs are very tired. But this is only my 4th ever ultra, so I don't know what I was expecting, to be fair. But still smiling.
So to continue with the insanity theme of this video, I've now got to just over 20 odd K. I've not had anything to eat or any more gels since that one at 5K. I already know from my previous 3 ultra marathons that I need to bloody eat, and I'm not doing it because Greg is stupid, Greg does not listen to himself, Greg needs a thorough slapping. I already know as well that I'm roughly 7 minutes ahead of where I need to be for my midway point 25K. That again should be an indication that I need to slow down, because anyone that knows anything about running will know that you need to be doing negative splits ideally in longer runs. So you start slower in order to get faster towards the end. I'm just going full idiot mode and just doing what I knew was wrong 15 kilometers ago.
Just over 30k done. That was a slog. Loads of really short and sharp, steep up hills. Just as you get over them, you got just fairly gentle ascents, but they just go on forever. And then the aid station at 24k, I refilled my water, and it just tasted like they put half a swimming pool's worth of chlorine in it. So managed about 4 gulps of it, and I was like, oh no, saw me off. But just gone through the 32k rest stop, their water's okay, 10k to the next rest stop, and then it's an 8k finish.
So I was already screwing up my own race. You know, I'd set off far too quickly at the start. As I'd said, I was still trying to go too quickly by this point. I haven't had a gel or anything substantial to eat since that 5k mark, because hey, why would I learn from my own mistakes in previous races? And then that minor drama at the second aid station where someone had just decided that bacteria is bad, whether that's in their water barrels or in your stomach. They'd put in a lot of tablets. The water tasted awful. It wasn't the be all and end all though, because I had my water carrier in my bag. And at that third aid station, it was a nice, quick, simple turnover to quickly flush out my flasks and set off again. What I didn't fully appreciate at this point though was just how close I was to exhaustion, and that was going to manifest itself over the next few K.
43k done. I didn't even stop at the last rest station. I'm just trying to save some time now, but I feel really sick. Don't know what's caused it. Just clinging on now. Get to the end. I don't care what time I finish now. I just want this to be over.
Now, whilst I can't really say I've had much of a racing career, this was definitely the hardest point I've ever hit in any race, whether it be a 5k or a 100k. Every slight incline or every hill I got to absolutely destroyed me, to the stage where I couldn't even walk. I was having to stop, rest my hands on my knees for a few seconds, or on a couple of occasions sit by the side of the road feeling sorry for myself and slightly sick, while people trudged on by me just trying to give me words of encouragement. I'd never really experienced hitting the wall, as people talk about in marathons. All I can say is, by this stage of the race, I hadn't just hit the wall, it had fallen over on top of me, and the air ambulance that had come out to come and take me to hospital had crashed into the rubble on top of me as well. I was absolutely destroyed, and by this stage, any thought of a personal best or finishing anywhere near 6 hours has gone completely out the window, and all I want to do is get to that finish line, have a small cry, and get myself home to cry some more. After limping and whimpering my way to the finish line, I ended up finishing 120th out of 168 runners for the long route. Not the worst time in the world, but if I'd have actually paid attention to my pacing and hydration and nutrition, taking 20 minutes off, I would have been in the top 100. I started this race with every hope of setting a PB and getting as close to that 6 hour mark as I could. And if I'd learnt from my previous mistakes, then I've no doubt in my mind that I would have taken at least 20 odd minutes off my overall race time, which would have put me into that top 100 bracket for the day. And whilst being kind of middle of the pack may not sound massively brilliant for some people, for a 41-year-old slightly chunky soldier who only started running in earnest this year, I think that would be a great achievement. And I'm not taking away the fact that I've finished another ultra marathon, because I'm proud of that. But the fact that I set off too quickly, I maintained that pace for far too long, didn't eat any food on the way, and squirreled away snacks like I was preparing to hibernate, was just all silly mistakes that saw me off. Now, I'd love every video that I put up here to be me setting PBs, smashing targets, training hard, getting a six-pack, but that's just not me as a human being. And I think it's really important for me to highlight my own mistakes as an amateur runner who's just getting into the sport, so that if you are just getting into your running journey or you're looking at running some long distance events, you can learn from my mistakes and not do a Greg on race day. And if that happens, then brilliant. Please let me know in the comments below how you're getting on. If you are looking at doing an ultra marathon in the future, the Adidas Maverick series is absolutely brilliant. They have events around the country. The support's great. And apart from this one day where they served me poisoned water for part of the route to make it more challenging, I've always found the aid stations and the staff to be brilliant. And I'll definitely be looking at going back next year to more of their events, to try out some new areas, and to maybe go back to the South Downs, regain some honour as well. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Please like, share. If you want to subscribe, that'd be brilliant. Look forward to some more content soon.